Youth unemployment is growing across the Eurozone, with some estimates saying 23% of people under the age of 25 are currently without a job. A meeting of EU leaders in Germany yesterday is supposed to be tackling the problem. Well, on the line I have Senior Economist Carsten Brzeski of ING. Mr. Brzeski, did anything come out of the meeting which you believe could help young people across the euro area?
To be honest, no. What we've heard from the meeting so far is really that it's confirmation that leaders are simply struggling to fight youth unemployment, that there are a couple of structural plans that we already knew, like really trying to implement a better educational system in many peripheral countries, try to tackle the mismatch between let's say the job profile and the and the skills young people have. Also to come up with some initiatives to stimulate mobility of the young ones across the eurozone. So it's all these kind of structural issues, which will not do a lot to tackle the problem in the short run.
Angela Merkel said this is probably the most pressing European problem at the moment. As an economist, just how damaging could this be to European economies and politicians if youth unemployment continues to rise?
Of course, it is. I would agree with Mrs. Merkel that this is the let's say the most dangerous and then the most pressing issue the eurozone is facing currently. Why is it such a problem? First of all, it's the young generation, which was supposed actually to be the real pan-European generation. It's the generation which actually grew up in this eurozone. They were the ones supposed to carry on with the European integration and the European dreams. If they now are the ones actually suffering most from the euro crisis, there is a big risk that they simply turn their back to the monetary union, to the project of the euro, and become, let's say, more receptive to new nationalistic ideas, populist ideas, and this, of course, is a big risk for the entire integration of the monetary union, but also of the EU. In economic terms, obviously, this if we risk having a entire lost generation in the southern European countries, this is clearly damaging any growth prospects.
Almost 6 billion euros, around $8 billion, have been pledged to tackle this crisis. Is throwing money at the problem going to help in any way?
It depends on how you use the money. Of course, it can help, but I think it would be an illusion to think that actually politicians can offer short-term relief. Short-term relief could only come if this money is really spent into growth. And even this will take time. So for example, now by just subsidizing jobs for the young ones, you could offer short-term relief, but this is it wouldn't be a structural solution to the problem. So I think therefore what has to be done now with the money is clearly invest in the structures, invest in education. This kind of dual educational system that Germany is having is one way out of the crisis. So again, to increase technical skills of the young ones. So not only have, intellectual academics, but also really have the technical skills, technical workers that can continue in the industry. That is clearly something that has to be done, and also improving the structures for investment. So this is really fostering these structural reforms, trying to give some hope to the young ones, that not everything is going down the drain, and this, I think, is the best that can be done with these 6 billion euros.
Now, what about Portugal? Because the country is in a very delicate stage right now, with public anger over a bailout package threatening the stability of the governing coalition. Some are blaming Angela Merkel for championing austerity measures that critics say has directly led to high numbers in youth unemployment.
And I think it goes too far to always blame Angela Merkel or always blame the Germans. in the end, Mrs. Merkel has not been responsible for let's say, the national mismanagement of public finances or on the creation of real estate bubbles in a couple of peripheral countries. I think, of course, what we have seen over the last years that there might have been a bit too much emphasis on pure austerity. This has already changed. Let's also be clear here. This is nothing new. So we've seen a gradual rebalancing of austerity measures and structural measures to restore growth. And this is, of course, it's a tough way forward. It's a tough way forward for Portugal as well. I would assume that Portugal will receive a bit more time to implement the austerity measures. But let's not forget, having sustainable public finances is not in the interest of Angela Merkel, but it's always in the interest of the countries themselves, of the younger generations, because they don't want to end up in a situation where say, the interest rate and the burden of high public debt is also unbearable.
Okay, that's all for now. For further interviews and updates on Europe, Asia and the wider world, keep tuning in to Dukascopy TV. Don't forget, it's NFP Friday this week and we'll have the coverage. But for now, goodbye.